Hello, everybody, and welcome to Storm Raids. And it's time for a quarter one series check-in. So I've been meaning to make this video for a little bit, but as I'm pretty sure you know, I've been having some trouble with my computer, and since I've been making these videos on my computer, I've been putting it off. But I think I got everything going, so let's hope that I can get through this and nothing freezes up. So basically with these videos, what I'm doing is trying to make sure that I am either finishing, catching up, continue working on more books than I'm starting, or series than I'm starting. Because your girl has a bunch of series that she's in the middle of, and sometimes, as I've said over and over again, I will read book one and then something new and shiny comes by and I don't even think about it. Even though I do want to work on the series, I like the first book that I read. It's just that it gets lost in my mind and I don't think about it. It just kind of drifts off or whatever. So I've been trying to keep a little bit better of a check on things. I've been trying to keep a spreadsheet and everything of like all the series and everything, which I'm a little behind on. But that's kind of what this is. So for the first quarter, this is kind of like the rundown of how I did during the first quarter. So I have a little stat page that will say a little bit about everything, and then I have several pages that has the books on it on my Canva, and I'm just going to run down through them all. This is not going to be rating anything. It's just, this is the series that I worked on, and these are the book or books that I worked on in this series during the first 3 months of 2025. Okay, so before we get into the books read, these are my like little stats. So in the first 3 months, the first quarter, I finished 1 series. I caught up on 4 series. I continued on 12 series, and I only started 5 new series. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that I have been reading a lot more standalones because I'm trying to read some of my own books and things like that, and a lot of like the retro romances and some things like that. They're not part of series and things like that, and so I've not read as many, or I might have started a lot more series than I did. And so the total series that I worked on from finish to first in series is 22. But I read a total of 27 books. See, and here's where I'm saying, like, I read a lot of standalones because I read 46 books in the first quarter, and only 27 of those, if I've calculated right, only 27 of those were from series. And so that just kind of boggles my mind because I usually would read definitely more series than standalone. But it's kind of nice sometimes to read a book knowing that there's not going to be another book. It's finished. It can just be put away. Okay, so let's get into the books. So my one finished series, and I'm claiming it as finished because I've been saying, this last book here that I've read says the final face-off, so I'm just taking it that means it's the end. And this is the Dreadwood series by Jennifer Killick, and Terror Tower was the book that I needed to finish, which was number 6 to finish out the series. And so I have the 1 series finished. Okay, so these are the 4 series that I've caught up on so far, and if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking on here to make sure, because this will tell me, hopefully, like what number it is in the series and things like that, because this is my little way of documenting everything before I put it on stuff like this and things. So it's just a little document. And so the first one I have here is the Sherlock Holmes Bookshop series by Vicky Delaney. And the book read was The Incident of the Book in the Nighttime, which was number 10. Then I have The Misfits by Lisa Yee. And this was The Copycat Conundrum, which was number 2. And then the Vintage Cookbook series by Ellen Byron, and I read French Quarter Fright Night, and that was number 3. This one I put on the caught up because I do not know for sure, and somebody could tell me if they know, but I don't know for sure if this is going to be the end of the series because there's only 3, and I know she's got a few series that she's working on, so it could just take some time to get to another one. This one just came out last year, so until I know for sure if it's finished or not, it's going to stay on the caught up. And then the last one I have here is the County Kerry series by Carleen O'Connor, and this is You Have Gone Too Far. And this one is number 3, and I will be caught up on this series up until October, and then a new one comes out, and then it'll probably get dropped down to my continued on. But I'm currently caught up, and it's kind of nice to see that I'm caught up for now. Okay, so next up I have the series that I've been continuing on. So I'm not caught up with them or finished, but I did make a little progress. And so the first one I have here is the Gaslight series by Victoria Thompson. And I read 2 books in the first quarter. So I've read Murder on Pleasant Avenue, which was number 23, and Murder on Wall Street, which was number 24. And so I'm hoping to finish that series this year, even though it'll be sad. Then the next one I have is Hope's Crossing by Rayanne Thane, and I read Rosewood Mountain, which is number 2 in that series. And then next I have the Lost and Found series by Fern Michaels, and I read Liar, which was number 3. And then the Meg Langslow series by Donna Andrews, I read Murder with Puffins, which is number 2. And this one, if you'll remember, was on my 12 cozies to either read or kick to the curb. I did manage to read one in the first quarter, and I thought it was decent enough that I probably will try to continue and see if the series will grow on me, because I know a lot of people really, really like this series, and I do want to give it a little bit of a chance. And so the next one I have is the Alliance Vampire series by Shannon Drake, and read Deep Midnight, which was number 3. And then next is the Septimus Heap series by Andy Sage, and read 3 books of that in the first quarter. We have Magic number 1, Flight is number 2, and Physics is number 3. And then I read 1 Bridgerton book. So I read Bridgerton number 7, It's in His Kiss. And then I have 2 from the Ally McKinley series by Dee MacDonald. And I read Murder in the Scottish Highlands, which is number 1. And Murder at the Loch, which was number 2. And that's another thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning. But if I do start a series, so see, you can see I started a lot more series than what I have on my first in series selection. But if I start a series and I continue on with it in that first 3 months, then I just put it on the continued on. And it doesn't count against me on the first in series. And so some more from the continued on. I continued on in the Harry Bosch series, and I read The Black Ice by Michael Connolly. And then I read the first 3 books in the J.P. Beaumont series by J.A. Jance, and so we have Until Proven Guilty, Injustice for All, and Trial by Jury. Then I managed to get in one of the Leap Horn and Chi by Tony Hillerman, and so I have Listening Woman, which was number 3. And then I have one Perry Mason by Earl Stanley Gardner, and this one was Case of the Curious Bride. Okay, and so the books that I have on my first in series are The Whisperwicks by Jordan Lees, and the first book is called The Labyrinth of Lost Things. And then I have Fireborn by Ainsley Fowler, and this is Fireborn. And I have Nancy Drew by Carolyn Keene, and we have The Secret of the Old Clock. We have the Cheese Shop series by Karina Moss. The first book was Cheddar Off Dead. And then we have the first book in the Secret Detective Agency by Helena Dixon, which was also called The Secret Detective Agency. So there you have it, a look at how my first quarter of 2025 went when it's in regards to my series. I don't know how many people find these kind of videos interesting, but for me, it does help refresh my memory about the books that I read in the first quarter, especially the ones that I started and I continued to work on, that I know I need to try to work on more of those books going forward. I don't always get to these books again during the year because I have so many series. I'm working on a canvas sheet of all my series so that I think it will be fun to be able to uh, lessen the transparency on them and see how many I get to in the year and stuff as I go. If my computer will cooperate with me and let me be on Canva for more than a few seconds without freezing. Yes, I'm very frustrated right now. We've been having a time. Anyway, so let me know if you like this video or you like this kind of video. How well did you do in the first quarter with your series if you're like me and you try to keep track? When it comes to like being serious about series, which is SAS, which we talk about all the time, I never make out an actual list because my list is all the series that I have and I never know what I'm going to read, and so I'm trying to mood read through my series, and there might be a series that I'm enjoying a lot more than other ones, and so they're going to get kind of priority, kind of like J.P. Beaumont. Been reading quite a bit through that with our buddy read that we've been doing, so that's been fun. Anyway, let me know what your favorite series were or how you're doing, how many series you got to, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!